All right, so I've been able to reach the host, and she's okay. She's going to record now. I think the recording has started already, so we can go ahead. Sorry, everyone, for the break in transmission, and sorry for keeping our beautiful guest, our guest speaker, waiting. Thank you. We can start.
Okay, thank you very much for the opportunity to be here and to do this. I want to first of all thank the leadership of the Kingdom Women Global Alliance. Thank you all so very much for making it possible and inviting me to be a speaker on one of these your monthly outreaches. I thank you all so very much. Thank you also to Ibironke for that really great introduction. You're my friend, you're my sister, and it's always really good to be on the same platform as you are. I want to start by saying that I am a very passionate person and coach in the area of mental health, and my heart is connected to young people. And when I say young people, I mean anyone from the ages 13 and above. I have a 14-year-old daughter, and I am interested in her well-being, body, soul, and spirit. In every area of her life, I want to make sure that she's okay. And so that gives me an insight into how other teenagers must be feeling. You would have challenges at school, maybe challenges at home. You may be thinking about friends, things that you want to do or don't want to do, some things that your parents may have set out as rules and regulations for, hey, you are in my house, so we do this every so and so, or we don't do this. It's interesting that as a teenager, you are growing, you are almost an adult, but you are not yet an adult. So you are in this really unique space where you can think for yourself, you have a mind of your own, you can control your actions and activities, but at the same time, you're under the leadership of your parents, which is not a bad thing. We are all at different levels in life. So to begin this, I want to say to you as a teenager that is watching or listening to the replay, or would be, that is listening live or will listen to the replay, I want you to know that you are loved by God at every stage of life that you are in. Even though right now it seems as though, you are still under the control and any form of what you may see as restriction or boundaries of your parents or your guardians or anybody that is an adult and relevant in your life. Those boundaries are to help you, to guide you in the right direction, okay? So I wanted to begin by that, to let you know that I am a parent also of a teenager, and I know how it feels. And I was once a teenager myself. The second thing I want to say is, I want to give you a few facts. You can go 3 weeks without food. Did you know that? You can actually go 3 weeks without food, real food. No, I don't ever want to try to go 3 weeks without food, but it is possible. It is scientifically possible for you to go 3 weeks, 21 days without food. It is also scientifically possible for you to go 3 days without water. Yeah, water is very essential to the body, as we know. I mean, you all would have done some form of biology class, science, so you know water is very essential to your body. You can go 3 minutes without oxygen. So maybe you are swimming, you're underwater, you can go 3 minutes without oxygen, but you cannot go 3 seconds without your mind working functionally. Let me do that again. You can go 3 weeks without food. You can go 3 days without water. You can even go 3 minutes without oxygen, breathing in and out. But you cannot go 3 seconds without your mind working perfectly. This is why everything about mental health, emotional health, depression, anxiety, stress, overwhelm, all those things are so important. for everybody, young or old, teenager or adults. It is so important, this topic that we are discussing. But I want to let you know that the topic depression in itself doesn't mean that you are sick. If for any reason you are experiencing depression, and we will go through the different signs and symptoms very shortly, but I want you to know that it does not mean that you are sick. It is not an actual brain disease. It is a signal. I don't know whether or not you've heard this one. It is a signal. It's not a real sickness. It is a symptom that something is going on in your environment that your mind and your body has picked up. Whether that thing is happening right now in the present, whether the thing happened in the past, or whether it is an anticipation of a future thing that will happen. Depression is an experience, but it is born out of a cause. It doesn't just happen like that. And it is a signal. Your mind is telling you that something is wrong. Either something happened before and it was wrong, or it is happening right now and it is wrong, or how do I put it? Or things are happening and it is building up and it's going to lead to something worse in the future. So I want to just clarify, if you're ever experiencing depression, you are not sick. Your brain is not sick. It's not like, okay, for example, and God forbid, it's not like cancer, for example, or headache, and you say, I have a headache. You don't have depression. You are experiencing depression, okay? So it's an experience. Now, I want you to also know that depression truly is not the same as just feeling sad. A lot of us, we just say it like it's a common phrase, I'm so depressed right now. I know that's what we're trying to describe. Oh, we feel sad, we feel down, we feel bad, but depression is not the same as just being sad. Yes, it has some elements of being sad, and we will go into those symptoms, which we have grouped into 4 major buckets or categories of symptoms. But depression is when you are experiencing an extended and intense feeling of sadness and a dark cloud over yourself for a prolonged number of days. Doctors and psychologists will even say that it is for at least 21 days. If you cannot shake off the feeling of being so gloomy and sad, then, and for up to and more than 21 days, then the doctor will now say it's likely that you are experiencing depression. So I was talking about the 4 buckets of symptoms that we have created. I want to say that this particular bucketing or grouping is not proprietary to me. As you know, I'm a Christian and I'm also an emotional health and wellness coach, but there are some people that I respect in the industry. For example, Dr. Caroline Leaf. And she has bucketed these symptoms into 4. The first bucket is emotional changes. And now she tells us, and I agree with her, that you will first observe that someone experiencing depression, they feel it in their emotions first. And emotions are not illnesses. Emotions are signals. Emotions are how you feel, but it does not mean that you are that thing that you feel. It also does not mean that you are sick. It does not mean that your brain has a disease. Okay? Now, let's give some of those signals. Feelings of sadness, like I said, prolonged sadness. If you start crying, just start crying for no reason, and it is persistent. You cry every day, you cry and you're not sure why. Any feeling of intense and prolonged frustration, anger, And just blowing up over small matters. If maybe your mom is asking you something, okay, so have you given your little brother his mask to go to school? And you just burst into tears, or you start shouting for no reason. We know that something is wrong. Something is deeper than the question that she asked you, right? Or your dad says, can I have some fruits for breakfast, please? And then you blow up and go out of turn, or you start stomping around the house. Those are some signals. First of all, it's even rude anyway. But in general, if you are having these intensive, regular signals and feelings of frustration, feelings of hopelessness, or you feel like you are empty, you feel like you don't have any motivation, you are constantly irritated or irritable, or annoyed by every little thing, or you lose interest in the things that you would normally be interested in. So for example, maybe you like music, or you like to play basketball, or you like some sport or the other, or hanging out with your friends after school or on weekends. And then all of a sudden, you're not interested in those things anymore. Or normally you would maybe participate in like debating, or in some form of after school science club or something, or book reading, whatever it is that you normally would do as your hobby, that used to give you pleasure before, but now you've lost interest in it. Okay, then, you need to look out for that. All these signs and signals that I'm talking about, as you have to remember that it extends for a period of time. So if maybe just one day you're not interested in playing basketball, it doesn't mean that you're depressed, or it doesn't mean you're experiencing depression. I want us to remember that. Remember our definition, that prolonged, sorry, my hair. Don't worry about it. That prolonged feeling for a number of days, at least 21 days. Okay? Then if you're constantly feeling like you're not worth it, or what we adults call low self-esteem, maybe you think, oh, I'm not good enough, or and those thoughts are persisting in your mind for those 21 days and above. If you are fixated on past failures, maybe you didn't do so well last term or last semester, or maybe your mom told you about something that you were supposed to do and you forgot to do it. And then you now stay on the matter and say, oh, I failed, I'm not a good girl, or I'm not a good boy, and I didn't do this right, and no one will ever want to talk to me, or no one will ever want to interact with me. Those are some signals. If you're having trouble thinking or concentrating at school, maybe the teacher is speaking, or the lecturer, depending on what level of academics you are in, and you are having trouble focusing on what he's saying. You're having trouble focusing on the book you are reading, the lines on the textbook, or you're supposed to do an assignment and you're having trouble concentrating. That is also a sign. Those are all under our emotional bucket. If you're extremely sensitive, someone just says one thing to you and it has turned into another thing in your mind, or you start to process and overthink and overthink and overthink. Another signal is if maybe you're having frequent thoughts of death, dying, or suicide. That's extremely important, and it's not something that you should ever play with. Be very observant. If you're constantly thinking about other people that have died, a possibility of you dying, or a possibility of you taking your own life. Yes, it's in the emotional bucket, but I want you to be very, very observant about it, okay? It's not something you should take lightly. The second bucket is behavioral changes. So remember, emotions is how you feel. Behavior are the things that you do, or how you feel, how you react to those emotions. Okay, so other what we will call, what those behavioral changes are. For example, if you have not been able to sleep much, or if you are sleeping too much, You can be on either side of the spectrum. Either you are not sleeping enough or you are sleeping too much. Or if you're not eating well and you're not interested in eating, or you're not interested in eating good food, you just want to consume junk, that is also a bad sign. Or if you are eating so much and you see that there is a change in your weight, or if you are not eating enough and you are losing weight rapidly, that's also a sign. If for any reason you want to try to dabble into alcohol or drugs, I know that that is not your portion. I know that, as teenagers of Christ, we don't try that. We don't try that. But if for any reason you are thinking about it, or you are feeling more and more tempted to try and use alcohol or drugs, that's also a sign. If maybe you feel yourself slow in doing things, slow in processing thoughts, slow in speaking, like different from your normal. So as an example, my daughter, who is 14, she takes her time to do everything. That's how she's always been. She will listen to you, and then she will, whatever it is that you need her to do, she will take her time to get it done. Sometimes it drives me crazy, but I know that it's her personality. But not only that, she will get it done right. So she will not rush to get it done. But that is different from if you are just like, in comparison to how you normally are, you are unusually slow, almost like, let me use Nigerian parlance, like a swagbe. Give me something else, any other word that we want to use to try and describe what I'm trying to say. Just unusually slow with your normal activities. Did you write something in the chat? I thought you did, Iveronke.
No, I actually wanted to say something.
Okay.
Slow coach or something.
Like a slow coach, right? Moving really, really slow. So that is, and if it's unusual, you are just consistently dragging your feet about everything, not doing the right things, or not doing the right things at the right time. When you are consistently procrastinating, when you know that there is a drop in your own performance yourself, maybe your school performance or your home performance, you have chores, and now mommy is always complaining, daddy is always complaining about something that is not being done or not being done fast enough. Another big one in terms of behavioral change is if you stop paying attention to your personal hygiene. You're not brushing your teeth on time. You're not having your bath on time. You can go for days and days. Or you don't clean up after yourself. You don't clean up your underwear. Your room just consistently is messy. You don't feel the need to take care of yourself or take care of your surroundings. That is very, very, it's a bad sign. It's a very bad sign. Another really, really bad sign is if you start to think about harming yourself or doing it. I know that I don't even want to say some of the examples of activities people do to harm themselves, because I don't want to put any ideas in your head. Because I know some people try and use like different kinds of instruments to harm themselves. It's not something to even think about. But if you observe that these changes, these behavioral changes, you've seen them for a while, persistently, 21 days, please, it's time to sound the alarm. Sound the alarm. The third bucket, number 3 bucket, is body changes. So the thing is, you first start seeing these things in your emotions, then you see it in your behavior, then you see it in your body. These signals, right, that you are experiencing depression. So some body changes is like unusual tiredness, loss of energy. You're just tired all the time. You're fatigued. Or a lot of the time, maybe you feel constipated, or a feeling in your gut. You're not able to go to the washroom. The thing is, our minds have a way of affecting our brains, and that affects our bodies, our proper body functioning. If you're constantly having migraines or headaches, those are some signals. Muscle pains, my body is paining me, I need to take paracetamol before I go to bed every time. Those are body issues or body signals that you may be experiencing depression. And then the last bucket is the bucket of perspective. If you are now, your gaze or your view of the world is now colored negatively. Perspective is like a pair of glasses. And if these my glasses, if I'm wearing shades, meaning if I'm wearing the ones that are darkened to keep me from the sun, it will affect the way I, from my inner eye, will see the world outside, right? So if maybe I'm wearing dark colored glasses or shades, everything that I'm seeing on the outside will be tinted like brown or dark brown. So whenever a person is truly experiencing depression, the way they see the world and the people around them will be colored with darkness or negativity. And you will not have, not you, amen, the person will not have or any sense of hope for the future. They will lose their dreams. Oh, I want to be a pilot. Oh, I want to be a medical doctor. I want to be an engineer. I want to cure cancer. All those beautiful dreams that God has put in your heart. If you're experiencing depression, they will be reducing. You will feel like there's no point aspiring, or there's no point reaching for those goals. So that's our fourth bucket. The one thing though I want to say is that there's something called high functioning depression. Something called high functioning depression, where people may be experiencing depression, but they'll be pretending, even to themselves, even inside of them, because they've put on such a mask that they don't even know that they're experiencing depression. So you can be having you can be doing well in school, you can be joking, smiling, you can be the life of the party, you can be the strong one, the one everybody can come to for solutions, but then you yourself, you don't feel like you are worthy internally of being helped, but you are helping other people. That is what they call high functioning depression, because you are functioning, you are performing, you are caring, you are being the mother hen to other people, you're constantly busy solving problems for other people, but you don't allow yourself to rest. You don't allow yourself to be cared for. You don't allow yourself your own problems to be solved. You have to also look out for that. So there's nothing wrong with performing. There's nothing wrong with doing excellently at school and at home. There's nothing wrong with being the star. In fact, your light is supposed to shine so that men will see your good works and praise God in heaven. That's for sure. But you have to check the motives, and you have to check the state of your heart as you are doing all those things. Okay? Now, remember, we've talked about all the symptoms or the signals and all of that, and we're going to be tying it all together. Remember, I said that when you are experiencing, or when a person is experiencing depression, it is just a signal that something is going wrong, whether past, present, or future. It could also mean that it is a buildup of things that have happened, and now your mind is rebelling against you. As I said, it is not a sickness. It does not mean that your brain is sick. So you have to, if there are any of these symptoms and signals that we have checked out, and you say, wow, I've been experiencing this thing for more than 21 days. It's been a month. I've been under this feeling of sadness, dark clouds, no appetite, no interest, crying for no reason, getting irritable just at the drop of a hat, constantly even busy, but I know that something within me is wrong for at least 21 days and above. You ask yourself, what is the source? You need to ask yourself, what is going on exactly? Is this something to do with your schoolwork? Is this something to do with your friends? Is this something somebody said about you? Or something you think somebody said about you? Because I know with a lot of friends and family, we can misinterpret words. Somebody said A, but you think they said B. And then because of you thinking that they said B, then your mind starts to process it and you're thinking to yourself, oh, I'm not good enough. I'm not worth it. I'm not beautiful. Maybe they say it's the tall girls that are the prettiest, or it's the ones that have the nice shape, or the ones that, their boobs and their bum bum are already, pushing out. Sorry. that made me laugh so much because I've always been such a small person physically. Like, I can't even remember. I used to call my boobs toothpick chest. I called myself the toothpick chest by myself because I didn't have any boobs. Maybe we're all babes here, so I can talk. So I didn't have any. Even when I got pregnant, even when I had my kids, I did not have, like, he only came out for the sake of the children and came back to his original size. Please, physical appearance is good for you to look nice. It's good for you to look presentable, to look pretty and all that. I mean, I'm here, I'm dressed up, I comb my hair, I'm wearing my nice lipstick and earrings for you guys, but it's not all. It's more important what is inside your heart. It's more important how you think about yourself. It's more important the substance that is in your brain. Don't focus on the outward. In fact, when you are doing good on the inside, it will show on the outside. When you are happy, truly, when your relationship with God and with your family and with your friends is thriving, is progressing, is flourishing, you will see it on the outside. You'll be glowing. The happiness will be so contagious. You can't even keep it to yourself. And then they'll say, wow, you look nice. You didn't do anything extra, but it is shining. You will just be shining. So I was talking about what could be the cause, what could be the root cause of these depression signals. Is this something that you interpreted? Is this something you are thinking? Is this something that you may have experienced? Some of us may have experienced molestation, abuse, or rape, and you are keeping it to yourself. Or you have told somebody and they didn't believe you. Or you have told somebody and they've laughed at you. Or they said it was your fault. Some of us may have experienced this. When I was younger, I experienced rape also. And I know that it can be hard. And I know that it created experiences of depression at different points in my life, even like 15 years after. Even like 15 years after. So I know that it is possible. But I want you to know that God heals. We are here today. We are talking about all these things that, are signals and signs. But God knows how to get to the underneath, the root, the real cocoa of the matter. I believe that the people that are listening to me today or will listen to the replay, you've given your life to Christ. It means that Jesus lives inside your heart, and his work is to do deep cleansing, deep healing in your heart, to help you know and understand that he loves you. He cares about you. Not only that, you are precious. You are precious in his sight. You are precious. There's a reason for which you are alive. And it's not something that, you should take for granted. You are of worth. You are valuable. Irrespective of what could have happened that may be the cause of this depression that you're experiencing. You are loved. You are worthy of every good thing. The other thing I want to say is there's a difference between a thought, and an emotion. Think about it, guys. You can think something and then you can feel something. A lot of the times they are intertwined, but I want to teach you something real quick before I round up. A thought is, her shirt is blue. An emotion is, I don't like blue. Blue is annoying. In fact, blue reminds me of XYZ. A thought is, her shirt is blue. An emotion is, blue is such a vibrant color. I love blue. Blue is exciting. It looks nice on her. It makes her look pretty. And these are all intertwined. Think about how you are thinking about things. Think about what you are thinking about. Think about what you are thinking about and how you are thinking about something. So it could be raining outside and your perspective, a positive perspective would be, oh, that's so good. It's going to cool us down. It's been very hot lately. Another person could see that, it's raining outside. The person would say, oh my God, I can't go out. I did this, it will rain. In fact, the puddles will be so much to stain my white and I'll have a bad day. Can you see how you just went from it's raining to I'll have a bad day? Think about what you are thinking about. You can have a positive perspective. We talked about perspectives, right? The lens through which you are seeing something. And then you can do really great things to boost your happy hormones. It's a scientific thing called serotonin. You can do several things to boost your happy hormones. Even if you have not been experiencing these depression signals for up to 21 days, you can curb it so that you do not reach 21 days. There are really good things you can do that are natural things, and you don't even need to take any form of medication. For example, you can get more exercise. You can go out into the sunlight. The natural rays of the sun actually boosts your happy hormone. You can pray. Remember, we talked about God going deeper into your heart. You can pray. He's always there to listen. He's always there to listen. You can think deeper about things that could be the cause, and you can journal. Journaling, as I've always said, I am a big advocate of journaling. And journaling is like opening the windows of your mind and allowing fresh breeze to blow through. Journaling means you are writing down the thoughts, thinking deeply and writing down your thoughts. You can actually make a habit of journaling every day, every week, just to express yourself on paper, and you don't have to share it with anyone. Journaling is a personal thing. You can eat well, fruits, vegetables, great protein, even fish, if you didn't know, has a particular substance or vitamin inside it that boosts that happy hormone I was talking about, the serotonin. The fruits, every color of fruits imaginable. Vegetables, same thing. We've talked about exercise, sports, play, hanging out, being intentional about interacting with your friends and family. And then lastly, if really you notice that this persistent thoughts and persistent signals, depression signals that we've spoken about, emotions, behavior, body, and perspective, if you see that they are not going away after 21 or more days, please reach out to an adult, somebody that you trust. I believe you should speak to either your parents or your guardian, and they will help you along. It may be possible that they will need to refer you to a doctor, a mind and brain doctor. We call them psychologists. Sometimes they could also be counselors or coaches that have been trained to help you through this experience. And well, my last and parting thought is, since you cannot go 3 seconds without your mind functioning properly, I want you to pay close attention to your mind. It is your most valuable resource, even as a teenager. Thank you so much for listening. God bless you. It was really, really great. I'm looking forward to any questions.
Thank you so much. I almost can do this for 3 hours. Trust me. Like, look at my notes. Like, it's so full. Yeah. Thank you so much. I really, really learned a lot, and I'm sure everyone on this call learned a lot. And I'm so excited about those who would still go through the replay of this. This is so valuable. So please, if you have questions, this is a time where we'll be taking the questions. I just want to share a few thoughts, some of the things that I never knew before. I never knew that depression was not sadness. It was not a sickness, like it was pointer to something. I thought it was an illness in itself. But right now I know better. So I won't go out disgracing myself, you know? Yeah. And it's so amazing how our minds are so powerful that it affects first our behavior and then affects our body. I remember that, some days ago, I was having a persistent headache. The headache just refused to go away. But, when I probed further, I found out that there was something I was carrying in my heart and was causing me that physical, it was giving me that physical sensation. I knew I needed to deal with the root cause of what was wrong. And then the headache just went away. It's so amazing how powerful our minds are. And I'm really happy that, we've had this amazing session. This is so valuable. So please, if you have any questions, we will be taking the questions now. It will be so valuable if we ask questions so that our teenagers can make the most of it when they eventually watch this video, when it goes live on Facebook and all our other social media platforms. I think I have a question because there's someone that I know recently that I heard the person tried to take their life, and I was wondering because they told me, oh, the person had gone to the hospital. They are treating it like a medical thing. Is depression really medical, or is it something that can be treated or can be addressed just by seeing a therapist? Or are there drugs, that people use for? Because I know I've heard of antidepressants. I've heard of that in the past. How effective are antidepressants?
Well, because I'm not a medical doctor, but I know that there are antidepressants that are effective to an extent. Remember that we talked about how depression is not in itself the sickness. Depression is the signal that something is going wrong in that person's life or environment. So you will be treating the symptoms, even the symptoms of depression, because experiencing depression has a way of affecting your brain composition. That is what those antidepressants are doing. When you take the medication, it's like taking a medication for headache or taking medication for malaria, right? Because depression in itself, the experience of depression has a way of changing your brain composition. The antidepressant drugs also will do their best to make the changes in your brain composition. And because remember, I talked about a hormone, a happy hormone called serotonin. There are also these drugs, these medications that you can use to increase it artificially. When I say artificially, I mean from the outside to increase the happy hormones, to try and correct the imbalance. So yes, it is possible for antidepressants, to work. Yes, it is possible for a person to be treated medically, physically, medically. That's what I mean. For experiencing depression. But it is more important for them to get to the root cause, to get the person speaking, talking. We want to know in a private environment, in a place where the person can be comfortable to speak, what is really, really happening? What are the thoughts? What are the signals? What are the mindsets that the person is having? What happened in their life? Or what is happening that is piling up, to lead them into this? So yes, just to answer your question, yes, depression that experience can be treated or reversed gradually with therapy, meaning seeing a mind doctor. We call them psychologists or therapists. And then depression can also, when it is prescribed by a licensed doctor, yes, you can use medication that is available, and it will be in doses. But truthfully, on a personal level, I don't recommend it. Because I feel that at a point, people can get addicted to the medication. So they cannot go about their daily activities without taking the medication. It can be as addictive as hard drugs or alcohol or yeah, exactly.
Right. Thank you so much. Yeah. Thank you so much. Now I'm armed with, information to be able to advise the family better. So while they're also doing the clinicals and all of that, they also still need to see a mind doctor. That's very important because that's really where the whole thing started from. Yeah, thank you so much. There's a question here by Titi Lola. She says, if someone has a medical condition and the effect of the medication, getting fat, makes him or her depressed, what can the person do? Okay, I get that. So someone is ill and the person has to take medication, maybe like something that they take every day, and they're adding weight and they're depressed about it. What would you advise such a person to do?
Well, they have to go back to their doctor, and they need to ensure that the doctor that they are working with is an expert with regards to the mind and psychology, as well as understanding the clinical effects of that medication. It is possible for you to wean yourself with the guidance of this doctor, to wean yourself off the medication, so that if maybe you were taking it every day, 2 tablets every day, and you needed to take it because of a mental, that question is actually saying, if you have a mental condition.
Yeah, mental condition.
And so there has to be a combination. They call it, it's called combination therapy, where there is talk and listening, there is drugs, there are other things that the person can do with intentionality, sleep, exercise, a regimen of counseling, and being in the company of other people who are interested and will support you. So you can actually, when I say wean, meaning reduce gradually the amount of the medication, the quantity of the medication that is being taken. I am not a medical expert, let me just quickly say that, but from my knowledge and experience, I know that you don't have to stay addicted to mental health medications all your life. And especially if it's giving you adverse effects like gaining excessive weight. And of course, it becomes a cycle of making you feel even more depressed. You definitely need help to do a combination therapy where, as you are reducing the quantity of the medication being taken, you are also improving other aspects of your life.
Right. Amazing. Titi Lola, I'm sure that you've taken valuable insights from that response. So we quickly take the last 2 questions because we're really pressed for time. Funmi says, what if you see videos on YouTube and it tells us sign of depression and you realize you're having those signs? How do you know if you're truly depressed? Wow. Funmi, our speaker has shared like so many things, so many ways that you can, place your hands on the signs. And she shared 4 different buckets. At least I remember the emotional, the behavioral, the body changes, and the perspective. So what I'm going to advise Funmi is that we will make this recording available. You can listen. You will really, really see. She mentioned over 30 signs. So there are so many that can point you in that direction. And I don't think I would want her to go over all of that.
So the only thing I want to add is that when you listen to the replay, you will see that with the 30 signs, if those signs are persistent for at least 21 days and above. So it's not that, oh, once in a while I shout at my little brother for no reason, or once in a while I start crying, or once in a while I can't sleep. No. If it is persistent for 21 days and above, then you can say it's like I'm experiencing depression. And as I said, reach out to an adult and a professional.
All right, thank you so much for that. Funmi, I believe that you've also taken some valuable insight from that response. We'll definitely make the recording available. Please, if you didn't register, please, I'll advise that you register so that we can get the recording across to you. Ebun here says, how can one trace depression back to the roots? For example, the symptom is sleeping too much, as you mentioned. How can they do that connection? How can they connect, the dots back to the root cause?
Okay. My answer is sort of like round and roundabout in this particular instance, because sleeping too much as a symptom of depression, it's not usually just the only symptom. So you have to really raise your self-awareness. The person asking, you have to really observe yourself as to the things that you do that is out of normal. And as Ibironke has rightly said, I have mentioned at least 30 signs of depression in the 4 different buckets. So sleeping too much as just one is not the only thing that you will see and say, I'm experiencing depression. That's number one. Number two, though, that when you are sleeping too much, you need to ask yourself more and more questions. For example, why are you sleeping too much? Is there something happening in your environment that you want to use sleep to cure? Or is there something happening in your environment that you want to use sleep to avoid? Maybe you're avoiding doing house chores. That's why you're sleeping and waking up late. Or maybe you are sleeping because, you don't want to have to deal with people around you. Maybe you sleep till like 12 noon on a Saturday or on a Sunday, right? Because you don't want to interact with your people. So you go deeper and say, okay, so why don't I want to interact with my people? What is wrong? What did my brother do something to me? Or did my dad say something that I don't like? Or what exactly is the real cocoa behind my sleeping too much? So it's really about doing why. And you keep asking, and you're not afraid to hear the answers that you come back. And once you are able to trace it and you get to a real root cause, then you can have a conversation with an adult around you, depending on what the answer is.
Right. Thank you so much for that response. And I like the fact that when you keep asking why, you will definitely get the answer, and you should not be afraid of what you will find, because I think most times we're always scared. So we don't want to dig, because the things that we will find will be scary in some cases. We want to make us feel like, oh, so maybe I'm even the one doing myself, all this while. And I'm saying everyone hates me, whereas I'm the one who has, deeper seated issues in my heart or in my life, whatever. Thank you very much. We really, really appreciate your coming. Thank you so much for being our guest speaker on this outreach today. And we're just going to be wrapping up real quick. I'm just going to read about us at the Kingdom Women Global Alliance. So we are Damsels Academy, actually, and we are the teenager arm of Kingdom Women Global Alliance. We create fun and engaging content that prepares teenage girls for life and success. Remember at the beginning, I mentioned that we don't just believe that we should be spirit-filled and we should have Christ and we should have the word, we should have the spirit of faith, but we believe that, beyond all of that, we should take the empowerment that we have gotten from the Holy Spirit to impact our world. And that's exactly what we're doing at Kingdom Women Global Alliance. So we believe strongly that the total woman is the one who is not just spirit-filled, but she's using this influence of the Spirit to impact our world and to take the nations for Jesus. And we are intentionally grooming the next generation. That's why we we have Damsels Academy. We're very passionate about this ministry, and we host these outreaches monthly. So we're going to be having another one in the month of November. We'll definitely let you know, once we are ready with all our communication materials and all of that. And we also host an annual convention and boot camp. We had one in the early part of the month of October. It was super amazing. For those who have caught up on the videos on Facebook, it was so amazing. God was glorified. And, the testimonies that keep coming are just so mind-blowing. So I think that with this, we have come to the end of our outreach today. Please follow us on social media so you don't miss any of the juicy news that we're going to be sharing the next couple of weeks. You can follow us on Instagram, KGA_Damsels_Academy. And you can also follow our big sister page, which is Kingdom Women Global Alliance, both on Instagram and also on Facebook. And if you registered for this particular outreach, trust me, you're not going to miss anything, because we will ensure that we keep you posted. We're not going to spam you, but we'll definitely keep you posted with everything that we are doing. So we have come to the end of today, and I would like to say thank you all for joining. Thank you for staying till the end. We really appreciate you for taking time out of your beautiful Saturday to spend time with us and also with your soul coach. So once again, I want to say thank you to our guest speaker for coming. Thank you everyone for showing up. We really appreciate you, and we hope to see you again next month. Thank you and bye-bye. God bless you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.